Hello everyone, this is a quick tutorial on how to use Nearpod. So Nearpod is essentially a PowerPoint which you can interact with. So instead of us talking about things in class, pausing every once in a while, explaining things, asking questions, those are all things you can do in a Nearpod assignment. So if we see right here, this is this week's lesson. It's an introduction to dramatic justice, which is unit 4, our last unit for this quarter. We know we're going to be thinking about characters, dialogue, plot, and themes, and we also need to learn a little bit about drama as a whole. So when you think about drama, think of theater, think plays, think actors. So if we see here, here's just a little bit of a screen cap giving us a preview, and here's the link. So when you click the link, it will open up directly to our Nearpod. All right, so here is our very first screen, just a little GIF of Batman getting ready to be over dramatic as Batman does. And we're going to take a look at the Nearpod interface. So I'm going to move this over just a little bit so we can see our next button here. That's what I'm going to click to go to our next part. This is just our learning target. So it says I'll be able to preview the unit so I can identify and analyze the skills and knowledge required to complete EA2. I'll know I will have it when I've successfully read the slides of information, listened to the recordings, and answered the open-ended responses. There's also 2 videos in here. So we can click on next. This is just a list of materials you might need. Headphones, probably going to be good for the videos unless you want your entire family to learn about dramatic justice. Maybe they want to, who knows. Springboard book, if you have your Springboard book, it will be helpful just so you can look through Unit 4, but you don't necessarily need it for this since all the text will be on the screen. Composition notebook might be good too if you want to take any notes or if you want to write out things in your notebook before putting them into Nearpod. So here's an example of our tools. It's kind of off the screen here, but it says use the tools on the bottom to cross off your list when you have completed a task. In this particular one, the Ed Puzzle video 1 and 2 are no longer in here, so you don't have to worry about those 2. But when talking about the tools, this is what it means. So this is the pen tool, highlighter tool, text tool. This is kind of insert an image or file tool. And here's an eraser tool. So as you go through here, you can always come back to this slide and say like, oh, okay, I've done the open-ended visual prompt. I can cross that off. I'm done with that. You can also go to the eraser if you're like, oh man, I didn't mean to do that. I'm going to make my eraser nice and big. And you can erase it. So this is something you can still use to mark text, check things off, cross things off. You might be able to write with it, but it might be a little difficult. Maybe it'll be easier with your finger on a cell phone or something like that. So let's go to our next slide. This is an open-ended question. You always want to give Nearpod a second to do its little animation before you go through. So I'm going to move the screen again just so we can see this entire question. It says Unit 4, Springboard page 281 if you want to look at it there, and this is the visual prompt. So it says there is a little visual to the right. You can click on it to see it a lot larger. This is a painting that is inspired by the play we're going to read, Antigone. So this is Antigone, this is her sister Ismene, and this is one of their brothers who has been killed but not allowed to be buried. So you can see like the birds are coming to peck at him. His body is just laying here. And there's a reason why he's not allowed to be buried. So we're going to get into that later. So this has a question. It says, what makes some stories endure or last across generations and cultures? So this already has a text box in here. So you can start off and say something like, you know, some stories last across generations and cultures because ... and then have a couple sentences there with your answer. And then it will save that as you go along. And then you can hit next. So here is a recording. So the recording, again, you can press the play button down here. It will read out the information on here. This is also on 281. Here's one of the videos. I'm skipping through them quickly. Here's a second video because if you don't, they will go ahead and open, and they are going to have you watch them pretty much all the way through once you open them. And then here it says, after watching the 2 videos, in your own words, what is dramatic justice? So again, you could start off, dramatic justice is, and then have your own response and answer there. So this already has the text box in there for you. So we go ahead and click to our next one, another open-ended question. So it's going to be the same thing, just reading the question. In this case, there's a recording of it too you can listen to. Click right in here and you'll be able to respond. Here is a different way of getting your answers in. So this says use the tools at the bottom to help create a text box. Use the TT tool feature. So this is something that you would normally see in your Springboard book. Now, if you're on a computer, this is a lot easier because you can just go down here, click this, and that's going to be text. It's selected green for some reason, which is fine. And I'd be able to go here and drag it in, click in there. All right, it says the verbs. If I look at verbs, I know I have to write an essay. So write is going to be one of my verbs, and I'll hit enter. What else do I have to do? Let's see, I have to choose a character. So I'm going to say choose a character, and that would be another one. So you'd continue going all the way through until we have an idea of what the verbs are, what you need to do. Now, if you're having a lot of difficulty with this and you just can't get it to work, you can also use the highlight tool right here. So let's say I'm going to make all of my verbs this orange color right here. All right, your assignment is to write an analytical essay. Choose a character. So maybe I can use that for all of my verbs. And then, all right, I need knowledge. Let's do blue. So all my knowledge and nouns are going to be blue. Let's see, I need to know character interaction. That would be a noun. So that's another way to do it if you really can't write in the little boxes. I know they're small. So that's just another way of making sure we understand what the differences are between those 2 groups. Here's another open-ended question. So again, this is going to be typing and it already has your text box in here. So this is summarizing in your own words what you need for that embedded assessment. This next one, you don't have to worry about. The collaborate feature is not really working in Nearpod right now. That would normally give you the ability to talk to other people and work together, but don't worry about that. And this is a little exit ticket. So it says use the available tools to create a text box to answer these. So again, you can hit this right here. Maybe I'll drag it down here. Maybe I'll make it white so it's a little bit easier to see. I'm going to stretch it out too so I have plenty of room. So it says 3 things I learned today. So you can have, I learned. And then you can have, here 1, 2, and 3. 3 things you learned. 2 questions. 1 question. 2 questions. And then 1 thing you're excited about. I'm excited about ... Now, if you're having a lot of difficulty doing this and you need to submit the exit ticket some other way, send it via Edsby message, post it on the wall, submit it if we have an Edsby submit button. Those are all ways you can do that if you're having trouble. But I just wanted to give you a little preview of what that should look like. Again, most of our Nearpod assignments, if we continue with these, are going to be very simple like that, where you are just typing things in, you are just marking off things. So again, here, I did the open-ended visual prompt, I did the open-ended question, open-ended summarize. We didn't do the collaborate, because that didn't work, and the Edpuzzles aren't here. But we did do the exit ticket. So that would just be another way for you to keep up with what's going on. I hope this was helpful. I'm going to be making a couple other tutorials similar to this. If you have any difficulties, please let me know. See you next time.